There's a new study by researchers at Indiana University and City University of Hong Kong, and they determined which states in America are the most corrupt. Now, how did they determine that? What was their methodology? Well, they looked at the situation in a couple different ways. So first and foremost, they based their findings on the number of convictions of public officials for violations of federal corruption laws between 1976 and 2008. That was their main criteria. But they also looked at states that spent most on government activities and services that are most susceptible to corruption. So that would include things like construction, highway projects, law enforcement, and prisons, because for those things, you're giving a lot of money to a small group of people that can profit, and then they can give kickbacks, et cetera, et cetera. And the final criteria that they used is that, quote, more corrupt states spent less on education at all levels, public welfare, health and hospitals, areas that offer fewer opportunities for public corruption. So, just to reiterate real quick, the first thing they did was, okay, well, which places have just flat out had more federal corruption cases brought against them? Which politicians are most corrupt in which state? And then again, they specific functions that are susceptible to corruption, which places have high levels of spending in those areas, and also the least amount of spending in the areas that usually have the least amount of corruption. So which places spend less on social programs and safety nets, yada, yada. You ready for the list? The 10th most corrupt place, Florida. 9th, Kentucky. 8th, South Dakota. 7, Alaska. 6, Alabama. 5, Pennsylvania. 4, Illinois. 3, Tennessee. 2, Louisiana. 1, Mississippi. Now, you notice anything about that list there? Do I even need to say it? You know I'm going to say it. It's time to do a fucking victory lap. Look, it's obvious that we shouldn't be celebrating the idea of corruption. In fact, we should be cracking down, not only in these states, but in all the other states, and definitely in Washington, because they are the most corrupt, and they have legal bribery happening on a daily basis with our incredibly loose campaign finance laws. But with that being said, case closed. Republican states are way more corrupt. Again, that's not me speaking, that's the study speaking. And the methodology, to me, seems pretty airtight. In fact, I don't know any other way you could determine in any serious way. I mean, this seems like an all-inclusive way of determining it. It's a fantastic gold standard of criteria that they used. Mississippi is the worst, Louisiana, Tennessee. This is a who's who of the reddest states in the country. Now, look, maybe some of these, like maybe Pennsylvania and maybe one other out of the 10 went blue for the presidential election. And I'm not even sure about that, but I think all of them have majority Republican state legislatures. So, look, we've been saying it from day one that if you actually go based off of the evidence, and if you follow the money and you follow who's taking donations from where, the Republican Party is not just incredibly insane because they're uber religious and they're backwards socially and they don't care about social safety net programs and stuff like that. Not only are they insane, they're also 100% corrupt. I mean, maybe the only kind of not corrupt Republican was Ron Paul when he was there, and maybe a little bit Rand Paul and a handful of other libertarians, but everybody else, people in the Tea Party, definitely the establishment Republicans like Boehner and McConnell and Cantor, who's now Dunzo, Like, they're as corrupt as can be. They don't even try to hide it, man. Like Ted Cruz the other day arguing that the Democrats are trying to repeal the First Amendment. Now, why does he think they're trying to do that? Because they're trying to say, hey, maybe we shouldn't allow legal bribery of politicians. Maybe we shouldn't have open corruption. Maybe money doesn't equal free speech, and we should clarify that. So the Republicans are totally corrupt, and it's just a shame that the Democrats are about 80% corrupt. The Republicans are 100% insane and 100% corrupt. The Democrats are 0% insane, but about 80% corrupt.